Hi guys, it's Ryan here. Before we start, I want to do something a little bit different, and that's actually me playing Minecraft while recording this episode. Well, not like it's basically in the background as the stock image. All my resource packs / data packs I use will be linked in the description. But with that out of the way, I hope you enjoy episode 11 of the CrimeCast. Hello, my name is Ryan, and you are listening to... hello, my name is Ryan, and you're listening to the CrimeCast. In this show, we'll be talking about true crime cases, unsolved mysteries, and cryptid creatures from all over the world, from the mountains of the Himalayas to the suburbs of Los Angeles. And welcome everybody to episode 11 of the CrimeCast and part 2 of covering the most haunted places in every U.S. state. Today we will be visiting the Pioneer Village in North Phoenix, Arizona, or it's Northern Phoenix, however you want to pronounce it, to the Crescent Hotel Spa located in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. And just to say this at the beginning of every episode, I'm going to start doing this, is that some of these locations are a lot of history-based, and some of them are a lot of ghost-based. So these episodes will be varying in time and length, so I appreciate your patience if I go all history nerd on you, because I do love history. It's something I always enjoyed. So with that out of the way, let's get into episode 11 of the CrimeCast. The Pioneer Living History Museum located in Arizona. The history. In 1856, a group of Arizona history enthusiasts became concerned about the demolition of historical buildings in the state due to land developers. This group reformed and called the Pioneer Arizona Foundation Incorporated. The main goal of the foundation was to save some of the historical buildings that were built between the years 1870 and 1910. And so the foundation would purchase 90 acres of land in North Phoenix, with the official museum inauguration being on February 15, 1969, with the original name being called the Pioneer Living History Museum, but was changed to the much shorter Pioneer Village. As of today, there are 10 original historical buildings and structures, with 15 reconstructed buildings and structures. So now, here are some of the most famous buildings, and not a lot of them have ghost stories to them, but you can probably guess which one may have more ghosts than others, but according to many sources, each building has its own ghosts that are just stuck there because of the history of some of these places. But we're not going to get into the history, but we're just going to get into the main facts about each one. So let's begin with the Shears House, or also called the Victorian House. This house was built in the early 1890s and was located on an acre of homestead in Phoenix, and was built and owned by John Marin Shears. So that's just a simple thing, but it's one of the more lavish looking buildings. So in its time, it would have been lavish because it looked Victorian. The Ashurst Cabin, built in 1878 in Prescott, Arizona. This was the childhood home of the first senator of Arizona, Henry Fountain Asher, and the family would live in the home until 1893. So this one's just popular because this is where Arizona's first senator lived. The Phoenix Bakery, built in 1881 in Phoenix on West Washington Street. The original owners were Edward Elise and Alfred Becker. In 1810, the Phoenix Bakery became the first to try out a horseless carriage system to deliver their products. In 1929, their sons decided to move to wholesale and renamed their product to the Wholesome Bread. I don't even know what the fuck wholesome bread is, but it's spelled H-O-L-S. Wait, yeah, S-U-M. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Some bread. Anyways, the Flying V Cab, built in 1880 in Canyon Creek, which is in Young, Arizona. The cabin had large front porch, which was used until July 17, 1882, during the Battle of Big Dry Wash. This was the last deepish war in the area, so you can just see that it was a war zone, meaning that a lot of people probably died both in the cabin and outside of the cabin. The boarding school, built in 1885 in York Canyon, the school would teach the citizens till 1930. Now, of course, seeing that this was a probably one-room schoolhouse in a small town, maybe people died in front of it, or even inside it. But we don't know. Nobody really knows at all. The Opera House, built by James Howley in the early 1870s in Prescott, Arizona. The Goldwater family would establish their first store there in 1876, and by 1882, Levi Bastion would add a stage into the building and convert the store into an opera house, which closed in 1899. Now, I don't know if opera houses had like a lot of scandalous things, but there's probably a lot of how do I put this in a PG-13 way? A lot of birds and the bees happening with the women, with the singers. Okay, that was really fucking creepy to say. Anyways, the ghosts of the Pioneer Village, due to the amount of reconstruction and original buildings located at Pioneer Village, with each having its own unique history behind them, it's no surprise that Pioneer Village is haunted. Why did I say haunted like that? According to PhoenixGhost.com, quote, a number of different ghosts haunt the Pioneer Village. Many of the original structures, they have their own own spirits attached to them. Though many ghosts seem to come out at night, visitors have caught glimpses in broad daylight, end quote. Now, let's move across the country to the East Coast and visit the Crescent Hotel Spa in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. The Crescent Hotel Spa, located in Arkansas or Kansas. If you get that, you get a gold star. Congratulations. Now, Eureka Springs itself has a lot of history to it, so this history will connect to some of the ghost stories there and some of the history part of the Crescent Hotel. So let's get into that. During the 19th century, the Native Americans that lived in the area had legends about the Great Healing Spring. Once the European Americans started to arrive in town, they believed that the natural springs in and around Eureka Springs had healing powers. They also described the spring water as having magical powers. Little ASMR for my Celsius. Celsius should sponsor. Whoa. Celsius should sponsor me because every time I record a podcast, I either have a Celsius or a Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper or Celsius, please sponsor me. I would love you for the rest of my life. Anyways, in 1856, Dr. Van Jackson claimed the waters of the basin springs cured his eye ailments. And due to this discovery, a hospital was established in a cave nearby during the Civil War. Dr. Jackson was the main doctor here and would use the spring water from the basin spring to treat his patients. By the late 19th century, Eureka Springs went from a rural spa to a major city within a year, with the construction of a hotel beginning in 1886. Now let's get into the history of the Crescent Hotel itself. Like I said, the construction of the hotel began in 1886 and was originally meant for the rich and famous. but would soon become unmanageable and fell into disrepair. Now, this kind of reminds me of the Cecil Hotel, located in Los Angeles, California, which we will not be covering in this series, since I already covered it with Elisa Lamb, and how it's one of the most haunted hotels. Those two episodes will be linked in the iCard above if you want to check them out. Anyways, from 1908 to 1924, the hotel was renamed and reopened as the Crescent College and Conservatory for Young Women. From 1930 to 1934, it was a junior college. And by 1934, Crescent Hotel would be leased as a summer hotel. So it went from two colleges to a hotel again. But just 3 years later, in 1937, Norman G. Baker would become the new owner of the hotel. He would turn the hotel into a hospital and health resort. Baker, who was an inventor and radio personality, would style himself as a doctor, even though he had no medical training. Baker claimed to have discovered a number of cures for various ailments, including cancer. He also made frequent attacks on organized medicine, and accusing them of being corrupted and profit-driven. This man was like crazy. He's like, don't listen to these corporate giants. They're like lying to you. I have the medicines. I'm the great and powerful. I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying anymore. Anyways, it's believed that Baker's cure consisted of his patients drinking the area's natural spring water, and the hospital would operate for around 3 years before Baker was arrested in 1940 for mail fraud and would spend 4 years in prison. This left the hotel once again ownerless. So, this man, Mr. Baker over here, committed mail fraud and became a doctor. This man's crazy. I don't know. I don't even know what the fuck happened. He's like, it's actually kind of scary because there were a lot of patients under his care, which we'll get into with the ghost stories. So be prepared for that. It wouldn't be until 1946, so that's about 6 years, when John R. Constance, Herbert E. Herbert Byfield, Arthur P. Roberts, and Dwight Nicholas would buy the building together. During their ownership, the hotel would be nearly burnt to the ground on March 5th, 1967. The current owners of the hotel would purchase the building in 1997, where the hotel went through a 6-year restoration and renovation of the hotel rooms. That's what we know as of it today. Like, basically, the hotel looks the same now. Basically, it's what we know the hotel is. I can't even speak. It's basically what the hotel looks like now. Yeah, okay. That's what I was trying to get at. The ghost. Ooh. I'm never doing that again. Kill me. Anyways, the Victorian ghost. One of the first paranormal activities occurred in room 218. It is said that once the frame of the hotel was finished, an Irish mason fell to his death where 218 is located. This mason isn't the only spirit in room 218, since the room has the most paranormal activity in the whole hotel. Another early spirit is an entity named Michael. No one is sure who Michael is or what happened to him. He's just there. It's believed that Michael is actually a poltergeist ghost, with both staff and guests reporting unexplained activity. Guests have seen hands coming out of the bathroom mirror, cries of a man falling on the ceiling, doors opening and slamming shut, all of that fun stuff, and everyone believes it's Michael. In the Crystal Dining Room, employees have encountered a playful spirit wearing a Victorian dress. During the holiday season, when the dining room was closed, the grand Christmas tree and the presents underneath it were moved across the room to the other end. The next morning, employees found the tree and presents moved with chairs appears circling and facing the tree. That fucking sounds like a cult. They're all worshiping that Christmas tree. Anyways, another time, a waitress was in the room and facing a mirror located in between the doors of the dining room and the kitchen. Kind of weird, but just imagine there's like a mirror in front of you, and you just, next to it are like two doors. Put it that way. And she saw a man and a woman in Victorian clothing facing one another as if they were in a wedding. Once the groom and waitress made eye contact, the couple faded away. The waitress would quit shortly after this happened, which is crazy. The last two stories about a Victorian ghost, I think I'm saying that right? I don't even know. There's numerous reports of a man, once again in Victorian clothing. This man is seen sitting at a table near the window saying, quote, "I saw the most beautiful woman here last night, and I'm waiting for her to return," end quote. Lastly, as many reports of seeing apparitions at the Victorian ball attire dancing around the room while it's closed. By the way, these last two ghosts are located in the crystal dining room. Now let's get into the patients. Like I said earlier, this was a hospital, so of course there's patients. Ghost. Yeah. As stated earlier, between 1937 and 1940, the hotel was converted as a hospital and was run by Dr. Baker, who used questionable treatments on his patients. People have reported seeing a man in a purple shirt and white linen suit who was believed to be Dr. Baker. A nurse pushing a gurney is seen in the area where the morgue was located, with reports of hearing the gurney squeaking and rattling down the hallways. That's fucking creepy. Just imagine, like, you're in your room and you hear, like, squeaking and you think, oh, it's, like, probably a dying service. So you check, and there's a fucking nurse pushing a gurney. Like, what the fuck would you do? I would be like, okay, bye. Just close the door. Mind my own business. That's her problem. Anyways, her problem, not my problem. In room 419, housekeepers report meeting Theodora. Theodora introduces herself as a cancer patient of Dr. Baker. After housekeepers have a conversation with her, she vanishes. So these housekeepers have a literal, like, conversation like you and I are having. I'm not here. If you're sitting in front of somebody, standing in front of them, and you're having a conversation, that is what they were doing with Theodore. The cook's story. So a cook named Steve Garrison had two encounters while he was in the kitchen. One morning while Garrison was doing prep work, he saw a little boy with, quote, pop bottle, unquote, glasses. I don't know what pop bottle glasses are. Dressed in old-fashioned clothes and knickers, skipping around the kitchen. His other encounter was just after he entered the kitchen to start prepping, unquote. Some or all of the pots and pans came flying off their hooks, end quote. And I believe he still works. He still continued to work after those two encounters, which, listen, if I was almost killed by flying pans and pots, bitch, I'm out of there. Like, bye, bitch. Anyways, the guide story. Multiple guides. Due to the numerous paranormal activity, the hotel started to thrive on ghost tours, and many of the guides tell stories of those who have come on their tours and have stayed in the hotel. One guide tells the story of a couple that was staying in the governor's suite on the first floor. During their second night, while the couple was asleep, the husband woke up in a deep sweat, realizing that someone had tucked the couple in with the comforter, but the couple had been asleep with just the sheet covering over them. During that night, the couple was tucked in around 3 more times afterwards. Why the fuck would you stay there? If someone was covering me up, I'd be like, I have all the lights on, I'd be like, I'm gonna catch this son of a bitch. I'm gonna catch this ghost. I'm just saying. Anyways, another guide recounts the story where two guests checked into room 221. After leaving the elevator on the second floor, they encountered a man wearing a all-black Victorian-style outfit. The man proceeded to ask the guests if they needed help finding their room. And believing that he worked for the hotel, they took up his offer. the man would proceed to lead them to room 221, in which he would unlock the door and open the door for them. After entering the room, the man stood in the entrance of the room smiling and tilting his head from side to side. After they realized they hadn't tipped the man, they turned around to give him some cash and realized he had disappeared. The guest would then leave the room and try to re-enter later that evening and realized that the key didn't work. So they made their way to the front desk to ask for a new key. Once down there, the front desk staff stated that they received the keys to room 321 and not to room 221. The couple then described the man who led them to room 221 and let them in. To their shock, no one with that description worked for the hotel. Bum, bum, bum. Now, if you do want to see some paranormal investigation at the Crescent, I do recommend Sam and Colby. They went there. Yeah, the amount of times I have referenced Sam and Colby in this podcast, even Libby, who is my very amazing special guest, we have both. I swear to fucking God, that's all we can talk about when it comes to this is fucking Sam and Colby. Subscribe to Sam and Colby. Also, go follow me on Instagram. What? Anyways. Okay, wow, I'm so off track right now. And those were the most haunted locations in Arizona and Arkansas, from the Pioneer Living History Museum in northern Phoenix to the historical Crescent Hotel and Spa in Eureka Springs. In our next episode, we will be visiting Cerro Gordo Ghost Town in the Annual Mountains, which is in California, and the Hotel Colorado in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. Now, before you ask, Ryan, why aren't you talking about the Stanley Hotel? That is like the best hotel in Colorado that's haunted. Well, I did talk about that. In episode 1, I talked about the Stanley. So y'all should go check that episode out. Link below, in the iCards are linked below, will be the 2 episodes that I mentioned, which was the Cecil Hotel and the Elisa Lam case. You want to check those 2 out. Also, part of the Cecil Hotel is, of course, the Stanley Hotel. If you want to go check those episodes out, those will be in the iCard and linked below. Also, at the beginning of this episode, linked in the iCard was my amazing first part of the series, and also episode 1 of season 2. This is episode 2 of season 2. Let's go. Once we covered all of the haunted locations, we will be starting season 3 of the CrimeCast. I think what I'm going to start doing is getting into rhythm. So season 1 was just like trial and error. Season 2 is haunted locations. Season 3, we're getting into some true crime, and we're going to make it dark and morbid and anyways, thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!